Hey guys, welcome to Kentucky Tony on the Fly. I'm Tony, and I want to start this whole thing by telling you a story. I've been fly fishing since I was about 10 years old, so somewhere around 32 years. At first, I started fishing for bluegill and smaller panfish because they were everywhere. And then from there, I graduated to bass. In eastern Kentucky, where I grew up, there was absolutely no shortage of fish. Every stream with any size to it had either spotted bass or smallmouth, and smallmouth quickly became one of my favorite fish to catch on a fly rod. They were very hard fighters, they took a fly readily, and they were everywhere. And let me tell you, I've caught quite a few smallmouth over the years. As a fly fisherman, one fish that I've never chased on a fly rod is a trout. Being a wildlife biologist, my interest has always been in native species and the conservation of native species. And because trout were not native to this state, they just never really crossed my mind. Well, this year I took a trip to the mountains of North Georgia chasing the Bartram bass and the Coosa bass for the Georgia Bass Slam. Unfortunately, 24 hours before I arrived, the first tropical storm of the year came through and blew out a lot of the rivers I'd planned to fish. Therefore, I either had to fish some of the small headwater streams that had already went down or go back home. Since those were my only options, I decided to try my hand at fishing some of the small headwater streams. This is the story of how I fell in love with trout fishing. I really do feel like, oh. There it is. Oh, yeah. All right, what do we got? Oh, that was a native brookie. That was a brook. All right. That was a brook. Okay. Now, there were several different things going through my mind at this point. First and foremost, I was actually surprised that I'd managed to hook a fish. Up until then, I'd convinced myself that these streams were just too small to fish. You see, where I come from, streams like this typically only hold things like striped shiners or creek chubs. Second, I was extremely excited that the fish I did manage to hook, even though it got away, was a trout, let alone a native southern Appalachian brook trout. Now I know, I said earlier that I hate trout, and trust me, I did. But once I got this fish up close and could see the colors on it and see how pretty it was, the adrenaline started pumping and I was ready for more. Besides, I kept reminding myself, brook trout are native to this part of Georgia. Oh, there it is. Got it. That's a little guy. But the net is coming out. It is a brook. Okay. My Lord. This is ridiculous. The fishing for these fish. They're so slick too. Those actually look pretty good. Oh yeah, that's a brook. Look at those fins. Oh my gosh. Gorgeous fish. Okay guys, I got one, finally. If it doesn't get loose, the whole goal. Come here little guy. But I still have to take a picture. I probably should have done that first. Well, as it turns out, that was 100% correct. I definitely should have taken the picture first. See, I'm not used to handling trout, and while I've handled a lot of fish in the past, I've never handled one that had such tiny scales and just so much oil. These fish were way slicker than anything I'd ever handled, with the exception of maybe a skipjack. But as you can see here, he ended up getting loose. Again. But I kept on fishing. First and foremost, I was actually having a really good time chasing these trout. And that's something that I never thought I would hear myself say. And then there was the fact that I hadn't really got to release one properly yet. Both of the ones I'd caught to this point had gotten away, and I wasn't about to let that be the end of it. I was determined to catch some more of these fish, and that's exactly what was about to happen.
There it is. Oh my God, that's so awesome. It really is super cool that you can do that. That is just one of the absolute coolest things ever. You can get these fish in places like this. No, you're not getting away. Look at that fish though, guys. Just unbelievably gorgeous. Such pretty fish. All right. Did you hook yourself? There you are. All right, calm down. I'm gonna turn you back. They blend in so well. Well guys, you're not gonna believe it. There's a big plunge pool down here, like a big one, just over to my left. And I was just kind of dropping my fly down there because it's deep and I can't get down to it. And I ended up catching I don't know, he's probably like an 8-inch brookie. This guy, look at that gorgeous fish. Absolutely gorgeous. Well guys, as I said, and I don't even know if you can hear me, but I was sitting right here when I worked this fish up, and this is the plunge pool that I caught it from. Absolutely ridiculous. I was gonna get a video of me releasing it, but it jumped out of my hands, the hook came out, and it plunged back down into its home. So it should be okay. Brook trout are made that way, that's how they function, living in streams like this, but man, these are pretty fish. Anyway, this was downstream of where I started. No inkling of an idea that I would catch a fish there. I just figured I'd give it a try. Thought, what the hell, you know? But this is all the rhododendron I was talking about. Well, this isn't, but see this? Kind of how it's lining the banks. Here's some. This looks like mountain laurel. Yeah, this is mountain laurel. And they're right next to rhododendron right here. There's my little 2-weight Echo river glass. Yeah. I don't know if I can get downstream from here. It's really steep, so I think I'm gonna have to hike back to my car and drive downstream. So yeah, let's do it.
And that concludes the story of how I fell in love with trout fishing, or at least the first part of that story. You see, I didn't finish the Georgia Bass Slam because of all the storms that hit before I came down, but I did end up staying for 2 more nights at different campsites and finishing the Georgia Trout Slam. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. And stay tuned for the upcoming video on how I finished the Georgia Trout Slam.